As photographers, when we're storing our images, we want to be organized right from the start. So here we are in our desktop. We're going to create a new folder called template. This is going to be a folder that we come back to time and time again, and we're going to build it from the start. We're going to open up template and we're going to create a new folder called photos. We're going to create another folder called exports. We're going to create another folder called audio, one more called assets, and another for anyone that also does video called video. These are the 5 folders that I have stuck with for a few years of my photography. I'm going to explain each one in detail. Firstly is video. You can probably assume why we have a video folder that is to store footage. I have a Sony a7 IV, so I'm going to copy this into the video, and I'm actually going to then put that into the photos as well. I also have a Canon R5C. We're going to copy that into the video and put it into the photo as well. If you have a drone, let's just call this drone. We're going to copy this into video and also into photos. Now, each of those folders can be organized according to the camera that it was recorded on. When you take photos on an A7 IV, you're going to drag them into this folder. Let's say you don't have a drone or a Canon camera at this time, you would then move to bin. But for our template, you will want to set this folder up with every single camera and device that you will capture content on. Now that we've set up those two, this template folder is pretty much ready to go. You might want to jump into audio and separate it out to music and sound effects. You may be given documents when you're doing a photography session with someone. It could be a brief, it could be assets that you want to include in a video, such as a reel, or it might be logos that you include in a watermark. Now, what do you do with this template folder? Firstly, you come down, right click and duplicate. We rename, and we're always wanting to rename the exact same way. We start with our year. It can either be 25 or 2025. That's your choice. We go with the date next. Today is August, so it's the 8th, and it's the 22nd day. I'm going to call this anything that I want that will help me stay organized. For me, I might go Levi Dance, YouTube, Lightroom, organising tutorial. That could be one specific name. I could also just call it Levi Dance Lightroom tutorial on organizing. Whatever it is, make sure that you can find whatever you're looking for later. The reason why we put our year first, followed by a month, followed by our day, is to stay organized in chronological order. For example, I open up my New Zealand folder and I can see these days in chronological order. I've always found it very easy to search by day rather than having folders just by name and having to look at the date modified, because this can update as you modify the folder. I always like putting it as the date that the content was captured on. Now, that is Finder. We have got a template folder set up. We're going to be copying this for the rest of our photography. Every single session we have a new name, which is our year, our month, and our day. Now that we've organized our images on the desktop, it's time to move to Lightroom. Within Lightroom, photos are organized within catalogs. There are 2 ways we can go about this. We can create a catalog per project, or we can create a catalog that houses a number of projects. I'm going to show you pros and cons to either. First, let's jump into Tasmania Unearthed Lake Rona. I created a single catalog for this hike. When we jump into the hike, we can see in my collections in the left, we're in our library tab, I have raw images, I have flagged images, and pass. I'll go into this in a second. But first, I only have images from this project. Why did I choose to do this? If I close down Lightroom and move back to the Lake Rona project, I can take this folder that is here and I can move this to my desktop and I don't need to relink any images. However, if I have a catalog in one location, linking to images in multiple projects, and I move any of the photos it's linking to another location, if the catalog doesn't move with it, it's going to need you to relink the images later. So for example, This project I could take to my desktop. However, I have an overarching Tasmania Unearthed catalog that if I open up, this catalog links to multiple different days. Now let's go into Cape Hoy and we will move these images. Let's go to Cape Hoy, go photos. Let's just open up desktop and move this whole folder to desktop. Now when I come back to edit in Lightroom, I look down the bottom right here and I can see a new icon. And it says it can be edited using its smart preview, but Lightroom cannot locate the folder. If I want to export these images, I'm not going to be able to do it. And this is because I had a single catalog linking to multiple photos in multiple locations. So if you're wanting to have a catalog linking to multiple projects, have all of the projects in the same folder and the catalog within that folder again. We're going to come back to our Finder and undo what we just did. Now, when we jump back into Lightroom, that icon has disappeared and our photos are relinked again. If we open up the Lake Rona catalog, we only have images from this project inside, and as I showed before, our catalog is in the same location as the photos. So as I move this entire project, the catalog is going to always be linked to the photos within it. So now that you know that there are two ways that you can organize your catalogs, how should you organize your images within a catalog? We're now in the Tasmania Unearthed catalog and there is a number of ways that we can organize our images. Firstly is the catalog. If I click on all photographs, I can see every single photo I've taken and imported into this catalog. This is not a great way to organize, but it is a cool way to be able to see everything all at once. I choose not to use this method very often. Secondly is in folders. Instantly I can see I have a hard drive, which is my Mac, and a Tasmania Unearthed hard drive connected. So I open it up. Each one of these is called photos. This is not very helpful. And the reason why it says photos is because in our Finder, when I go to Sentinel Range, I have got this organization of folders as we showed in the start of the video. We have my photos here, and this is where this folders section is looking, just at the photos. Within the folders tab, it's very difficult to tell unless I hover like this, which project that this folder belongs to. I used to use this method and constantly open and close all the different folders to try to find where my photos were located. I then discovered collections. Here I have a collection for every project. Within this, I have 00 raws, 01 flagged, and 02 pass. Let's import some images now. I'm going to go to my Finder and go to Lake Rona, photos on my A7 IV, select all, and I'm going to drag them onto the Lightroom icon. This is going to automatically find that folder and select all of my photos, and I'm going to click import. This is going to very quickly import all my images, and then it's going to build some smart previews. While this is happening, we're going to create a new collection set. We're going to name this the same as our folder. So let's go to our Finder, come back, right click rename, copy, and then jump in and paste that. This keeps our naming convention consistent. We're going to hit create and right click, create collection, 00 raws. We're then going to right click, create collection, 01 flagged. Do it one more time, 02 pass. You could also duplicate this and rename it as a template so it's good to go every time you open up this catalog again. Now that I have all my images imported, it doesn't matter that my smart previews are still importing, I can drag these into RAW. I now have every single image organized from this project inside RAWs. Let's go through and select a few images that I like. I'm going to select an image and hit L. Then I'm going to hit E, which opens the loop tool. I'm going to go through, let's say I like this image. I'm going to hit the little squiggly tilde key to flag as in pick. If I want to unflag this because I accidentally pressed it, I can hit it again. You can also hit P to flag and then the tilde to unflag. We're going to flag this, go through very quickly, and let's find another image there. Let's hit L again, and the reason why I hit L is just so I can focus in on the images I'm looking at. We're going to look at some images up here that I like. And let's select that one. And let's go this image here. Now, you would do this for the full collection. Once you've done flagging, you come down to the filter and change it to flagged. We can see that we've flagged 5 images. I'm going to hit Command A to select them all, drag them into flagged. Now we've culled down our images to just the ones that we like. I'm going to reopen that first image, double tap L again, and this time I'm going to rate my images to see if I can cull them down further. I look at this and I'm like, actually, no, I don't like this image. I'm going to skip it. I don't like this one, don't like this one, but I do like this. I'm going to hit 1 to set a rating to 1. You can do whatever you want for this next step. You could set a rating to 2. You could set it to 4. You could set it label to red. It's really up to you. I'm going to turn off red and I'm going to set it back to 1 because that's the method that I use. I'm also going to rate this image. Now, let's go back to our tools down here and select rated down here, 1 star or higher. You can also select just rated images. We now drag this into our pass. So in theory, you have culled down your images from a very high number to a small number. You can see here that I had 194 images for Cape Hoy, and I culled them down to 41. These are the images I then edited. Some of these images have 2 stars, and if I select the 2 star, these are images that I may have selected for a blog post, or maybe I wanted to share on Instagram as a very quick highlight. I didn't want to edit every single image. I just wanted to go through quickly, rate them as 2 stars, select these images, and then go Command-Shift-E to export them really quickly. I could probably change these back to 1 star if I didn't have a purpose for the 2-star rating anymore. I want one final tip. You don't have to stick to this structure. You could create a new collection and call it Sony. You could create another one called Canon. And this is a way to keep these 2 at the top and separate the photos from each camera. Let's just say for this project, you had photos on a Sony camera and photos on a Canon camera. There you go. You've now got 2 places to store those within Lightroom, and you don't have to go through a very long list wondering which photo came from which camera. Make sure you stay organized from the start, and that way you can select something like Pass, Command A, and export all your images at the same time. For Tasmania Unearthed, I may want to create one more collection called All Photos. And inside that, I will create one collection, in this case called Pass. Now let's go to all my photos with Pass, which is here and here. I didn't do it for this project. I can now go to this collection, which is made up of every single project within this catalog, and I can export them all at once. Say you're traveling with family and you want to export all the best of the best photos, culled 2 times. This is the way that you could do it. And it's very quick to go between images in the Library tab. Lightroom is designed to be quick in the Library tab, but when you move to Develop, things take a little bit longer to load, as you can see here. So, from start to finish, we have covered how to keep your images organized. I hope this helps because this is a system I have used for the past 5 years. I'm going to keep producing content just like this, showing how I work through Lightroom, how I edit, how I organize, and how I go about my photography journey. If you want to hear more, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell to stay up to date with all of the content. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. And until then, stay creative. I'll catch you in the next one.